Hey guys, you're joining me in Cologne in Germany for the second day of Gamescom here. I'm joined now by Alex Evans, who is the technical director for Little Big Planet 2. Welcome, Alex.
Hello, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on your show.
So tell us what you're showing here in Cologne. You're showing a short new demo for us here.
Yeah, I mean, basically I never quite know which bits to show for Little Big Planet 2, but today we're focusing on story because for a lot of people, they really look forward to the media molecule levels and they serve as the inspiration as well. So a lot of people don't want to go dive straight into create. So the story mode and the music sequencer, the big two.
The music sequencer has been used in a creative new way, which is what you'd expect from Little Big Planet, but it's been used to build levels itself.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting that. Christophe, who's one of our French level designers we hired from the community, went ahead and rebalanced one of his gameplays, actually a top-down racing game. It's great, one of the greater levels in the game, but he used the sequencer to control the difficulty curve. And what I love about that is I think in LBP2 you should see levels from us and from the community that are just more finessed than the first game, because you've got these extra tools at your disposal that mean that it's easier to balance and just make the games feel really good. So that's what he used it for, and it was not what I expected.
Kind of blow my mind to try and think about how that works.
Yeah, it's just blown my mind. I can't even speak. So the crazy thing is that he realised, and Dave, the guy who actually programmed it with me, he's the lead physics and gameplay programmer, he was saying, look, it's a timeline, it's not just about music. Sure, you can put music down and you can put beats in and you can edit your piano keys, you can do literally anything. We provide tons of synths and instruments with you. But he's like, actually, why don't we just control the emotions of the sack box? Or why don't we change the camera cuts? Or why don't we emit pieces of gameplay based on the string sequence that you have there? And it's like, wow, at that point we could go back through our story mode and we're actually finessing our own story mode using the sequencer. And the story mode remains for LBP2 about multiple different kinds of gameplay, so that means that the sequence is getting used in all different kinds of ways for all different kinds of games.
The example you showed of that was actually doing a music loop and then a certain part of that rhythm having an object set on fire.
Exactly, because if you know anything from Little Big Planet 1, if you've ever created, you know that there are simple things like switches and levers and stuff. So all of that mechanics, all of those pieces, even the new SACBot features and the direct control features, can be just placed physically on Poppet on this timeline. So if you can think of something you can do in Little Big Planet, with the sequencer you can now do it and control it with time and sequence it perfectly in order, making it just really easy. One of the guys from our community came and tested the game and he said, it's kind of tricky, it sounds really complicated, all these new features, I'm scared. At the end of the day he said, actually, you know what, it makes it easier. It's counterintuitive, but all of these powerful new features, once you've got your head around them, which takes a couple of hours, and then he said I was knocking levels out like 5 times quicker than you could do it in LBP1, which really makes me happy for what the community are going to do.
You showed one of the bonus levels as well where you can collect a rubber band ball and start playing basketball with it.
Yeah, that's right. So as you go through the story, as with Little Big Planet 1, we've got side games, but because we now have competitive mode, it can get really kind of emotional in those. I love it because the basketball game I showed, there's other ones, there's puzzle games, they can become competitive. So I think in the press demo I just got completely owned. I think I got like, he was getting 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer, and yeah, the great thing is these competitive levels are really easy to make. To make a deathmatch game in Little Big Planet 2 just takes, make a frame, show where your levels are, put down a few weapons of your choice. You can actually choose what sort of a weapon you want. You can create it. It's Little Big Planet, and you're done. Deathmatch level in 20 minutes, really easy.
There was also a gun which you showed that was firing out icing with interesting physics properties as well. Tell us about that and how you can customise it. You can get it to fire anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we call it the Creatinator because we didn't want to go too violent in the Little Planet. It's all about creativity. So the Creatinator is a hat, but you can make it emit anything. So if you want to, you can make it emit guns or fire or whatever. But in this case, it was cake icing. And the cake icing actually uses a new feature as well, which is stickiness. And so as you play through the story, we actually use that as a kind of mechanic for like pulling levers down, and you can actually then, you know, fire the cake over and action at a distance. And again, the story mode just introduces the simple ideas. I think the community are going to take those simple ideas in our story and really kind of remix them and go crazy with it. And so we're doing the conservative end of the spectrum with the Cakeinator, and they'll do the crazy stuff, I hope.
So we're fast approaching the release date now. Where are you guys at in terms of development, and can we expect to see any more ahead of release?
I think we're at the no sleeping stage. I mean, we're in the polish phase, basically. It's really great. We've locked down everything, no more features to do. So we're just doing our best to get through the bugs, get the game out to you, and get it really polished and really beautiful. So if you do see anything more, hopefully it'll be super slick, super polished, and really fun, because we're enjoying making it. I just can't wait to have this baby out. This is just a little example of a sort of more story-based level. It's not driving you forward in terms of hard gameplay, it's just developing a little bit of the story. At this point we're in the spaceship that Professor Higginbotham has built, and he's a character. He's a little bit eccentric, and he's designed this spaceship to help you fly through space and escape the negativitron. So these are all the characters I've met at this point, and they're going on a long journey. I'll just skip through the story quickly. So he says, have a look around, amuse yourself. It's like, okay, I'll just jump down, go down into the spaceship innards. And in this sequence, I'm just exploring the insides of the spaceship. So I jump through here. I can actually reverse gravity, so I get these nice little. Oh, I'm going to log out, Mr. Player 2. And while I'm at it, I'll crank up the volume a tiny bit for later. Cool. So this switch here allows me to reverse gravity. So it's a little mechanic for this level. So we have up and down. And that's just something which we explore later. It's something that our Swedish level designer Victor came up with, and sort of, as usual, we begin simply with the motif, and very quickly it gets harder and harder and harder. So I'm just going to come up here. And we've actually built some games within games, so you've got some Sackbots playing some old retro games here, and you can actually dive in and have a little game of Breakout, if that's what you fancy. Okay, that's enough of that. You can even play two-player games. This one's, I think, being repaired, but if you log in there, and you can electrocute the poor little Sackbot who's attempting to fix it, so I'll leave him. There's some other Easter eggs in there, two-player games, and these are just like little Easter eggs, really, for our fans. And one of the things we've got now is level links, and these are actually really powerful for the community and for teams, because you can now place directly in your level a link which is either compulsory and automatic, or in this case it's manual. I can push triangle to choose to go into it. And that means I think that we'll have epic stories where the levels are actually being built into sequences, and you can actually decide which parts of the sequence are visible on the Earth. So you can just have, if you like, the first chapter visible, and then as a team you can link your work together. Or perhaps we'll have hub levels with my favourite levels that I've found, just with the links in. It means that we've given the users much more power to shape the flow of their game, if you like. So here we are in a sort of extended version of the extended version of that up and down gravity mechanic. Let's see if I can make it. Oh man, I shouldn't play this game. Actually, maybe I should hand over to one of you guys, and you can probably do a better job of it than me. See if I can get as far as the cutscene. So, focus for a second. Can't speak and drive. It's too dangerous. I'm going to take the high road. That's cool. I'm being very cautious. If you see someone doing a speed run on this, they make it look incredibly easy, but I don't want to mess up again. So this is an example of a cutscene which the designers actually decided to make sort of semi-interactive. And basically at this moment the negativitron is starting to destroy the ship, and Higginbotham is not pleased. So he decides to go into warp speed, and at that point gravity kind of starts going, and really the integrity of the ship starts really losing it. So we have to go out through the airlock and help some of the Sackbots which are at risk from being destroyed. So we go through this insanely built airlock and find ourselves in low gravity